Hello and welcome to our Culture Magazine here on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober, and today we have a wonderful show for you. We host Alex Levac, one of Israel's best-known photographers. Also a new book of photographs all about football in Brazil. And we'll check if we really need 4K televisions. But let's begin with Alex Levac, one of Israel's most prominent photographers. For over 40 years, he has been capturing the events and people of Israel, as well as taking his camera around the world. And for nearly 20 years, he has been a staff photographer for Haaretz newspaper. In 2005, he received the Israel Prize for Photography, the highest artistic prize awarded in the country. I'm very happy to have Alex in our studio. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
So let's start with what's happening next week. You're gonna sit on a panel discussing the role of photography in conflict zones. Tell me a little bit about what you're going to talk about.
Actually, there's an exhibition by Jean Moore, who is a very well-known Swiss photographer.
Right.
Who used to work with different NGOs, health organization, UNRWA, you name it. And he's a very, what we call conscious photographer, which is, he's a photographer who cares about people, you know, and he tries to show how he cares about people through his photographs. He's, I think he's going to be 90 next year.
Wow.
And so he started working in photography in 1946, 2 years after I was born. So I have a...
So he has a few years on you.
Yeah, and he's an excellent photographer. And also I know a little bit of his photography. I must say that he started, for example, in 1975, he already published a book about foreign workers in Europe.
Wow, way ahead of his time, right.
You know,
so do you try to, with your work, you try to not imitate, but work walk in the footsteps that he has walked in?
There's a group of photographers, what we call conscious, photography, and yes, I studied photography in England, in London, in the 60s. Late 60s, and I really got into this meaning of photography, not just taking beautiful pictures, beautiful light and beautiful composition,
but have a deeper meaning, a political meaning?
Sorry?
A political meaning?
Sure, everything is political, you know. I can't think of anything to do with the media which is not political, and because most of the time I was a news photographer.
Right.
And even now, when I only work part-time because I'm retired already, I still, you know, my work is totally, utterly, completely connected to politics.
Politics, no doubt. Your work with journalist Gidon Levy in Haaretz about the Palestinian suffering, let's say, under the occupation has resonated with many people. Was that what you aimed to achieve when you started your career?
With Gidon Levy, it's one aspect of the work, you know. We're dealing with the unseen, you know, which is before the wall was built, before the Second Intifada.
Right.
There was a lot of contact between Israelis and Palestinians, but we all know what happened after the big Intifada and the building of the wall, so people don't see Palestinians anymore, and we're trying to tell a little bit about the life of how the other side of the wall, how people live there, and what kind of problems they have. Right. And the problem is that the Israelis really don't want to know. If you don't see anything, then you're not interested in it. And we're trying to expose different...
bring it to light.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, you've traveled far and wide with your camera, but your books tend to focus on Israel. Why is that?
Because this is my country, you know. By the name, by the way, one of my books is called My Country.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, I've been away actually for 14 years. After I studied photography in London, I went for 14 years. I spent time in South America mostly, and the United States, and I traveled all over. But there was a point that I understood that if I want my work to have some meaning for myself, I have to come back here because I deal with documentary photography and social photography and conscious photography, and living in another place which is not really myself, I think it's a waste.
Yeah. Now, as we said, 40 years, and Israeli Independence Day was just yesterday.
Yeah.
Over 40 years, when you can go back and actually view the photographs that you took 40 years ago and the photographs that you've taken recently, how has it changed here? How, and from your point of view?
Without too much criticism, I think it's changed for the worse, really, because well, I can see it because basically I'm a street photographer, so it's one excuse to talk to people, taking their pictures, and I talk to people and I see how they behave. I think people are. I just did a series of photographs. I still work on it, on people at the Carmel market. I just wait there and take people coming towards me, and I shoot without any discrimination, just to get the Israeli portrait. And most of the people are depressed. I think something happened in this country. I don't know. I don't know what exactly, but I think like 20 or 30 years ago, people were happier. Maybe they felt less threatened. Maybe the future was clearer. Maybe they thought that this country will have borders at last, but nothing of this have materialized, and it's a shame, And apart from that, people are much more aggressive than they used to be, and they have less respect for the space of the other,
Yeah.
That's one thing that when you go abroad, you notice immediately,
You had a pretty major impact on Israel over these years, especially if we look at the 300 bus situation. You published a picture that brought to light that terrorists were taken off the bus alive, when in fact they were killed later, not at the time of taking over the bus. Do you and later you said that taking this picture was the peak of your career?
Yeah,
Do you still feel that
I'm
way?
saying unfortunately in a way, because it only happened like 4 months after I started working for a newspaper. And I said to myself, wow, so I can't go any further.
It's been downhill since then?
Downhill. Yes, because it was a scoop and it made a lot of, it still is a part when people study photography or law or politics, they always come back to this photograph, which meant a lot at the time and still does, I think.
Now, I think that nowadays, with the availability of photography, which everybody with an iPhone can take a photograph on the spot and put it online, we should be seeing a lot more of these kinds of photographs, don't you think?
We do. I think we do. I think the role of a professional photographer doesn't have that much power as it used to have, because now if you walk by something which is interesting, you take a picture of it. And unfortunately, people take pictures everywhere, and maybe fortunately.
Unfortunately, it's not always of what they should be. It's more of themselves.
Yeah, they would like to take pictures of flowers and a family, but it happens that the most major part of the news that we see, photographs, come from outside, from people just
non-professional photographers.
Not professional photographers.
Alex, thank you so much for coming in here today, and thank you for your work all these years.
Thank you. I hope you will enjoy it in the future.
I'm sure I will.
Thank you.
Staying with the photography, The Beautiful Game in Brazil is a new book by photographer Christopher Pilitz, all about football in the South American country. The book takes a look at the huge part football plays in every aspect of Brazilian life. Here's the story by Michal Divon.
A national obsession and much more than a sport, football in Brazil is a way of life. From collective triumph to despair, it's a game that taps into the spirit of an entire nation, with its influence experienced in every city and on every street. The Beautiful Game in Brazil, photography by Christopher Pilitz, is a newly released book dedicated just to that. Anticipating the 2014 FIFA World Cup, the book aims to capture the essence of Brazilian culture as the world sees it, and how Brazilians see themselves, with football being in the center. Having photographed football in Brazil for 2 decades now, no one understands the country's passion for the sport better than photographer Christopher Pilitz.
Football means to Brazilians what cuisine means to the French and what art is to the Italians. It's a matter of sort of life and death. It's art it's art with a ball for Brazilians.
The book captures every angle of the sport, the players and the fans of what they refer to as the most beautiful game on earth. From Brazil's paradise beaches to its urban landscape and poverty-struck neighborhoods, from streets to rooftops to monasteries, Pielitz reveals the sport as the country's main religion. Bold, bright, and rich in color, his photographs show players of every age and creed.
For me, the project really was about culture. It's not just about football, but really it's about Brazilian life, and it's about Brazilian behavior, and it's about Brazilians' obsession with the game.
Pielitz shows different dimensions of the game influencing Brazilian life, the wild excitement of the fans, the festivities around the game that often include samba and capoeira, and even a more gentle side of the game, the many female fans who enjoy the sport just as much as their male counterparts. The Beautiful Game in Brazil, released in anticipation of the World Cup, takes the readers on a journey that allows new and seasoned fans to understand what football truly represents to the people of Brazil.
Soon we'll hear all about 4K televisions and the new ultra high definition market, but first here are a few cultural highlights from around the world.
The exhibition Irving Penn Resonance presents 130 photographs of the legendary American fashion photographer. This broad overview of Irving Penn's work puts relatively unknown images side by side with the most iconic ones. You'll be able to see portraits of celebrities and famous artists until December 31st at the Palazzo Grassi in Venice. The cartoon world is honored at the British Library. The largest exhibition of its kind in the UK tells the story of this great country in pictures by addressing several topics such as politics, violence, and sexuality. Come and discover original and previously unpublished drawings and other objects relating to the world of comics. Unmasked Comics, Art and Anarchy in the UK is open until August 19th. An online exhibition of the late Polish artist Jeheskiel David Kirschenbaum can now be viewed online on the new website of the J.D. Kirschenbaum Foundation. This new online exhibition is a powerful display of the artist's work to a global audience. In the exhibition, his artwork from before and after the Holocaust can be viewed, including many works hidden from the public eye for decades. The artist died in 1954, and his work belongs to both national and private collections throughout France, Israel, Holland, Poland, and Switzerland.
And now Daniel Roth is here, and we'll discuss the future of television. Hello, Daniel.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing great, except that I'm afraid I'm going to have to buy a new television.
Yeah, well, I was watching football a little while ago, and I was thinking that I can't quite see all of the sweat dripping off of their faces, and when they spit.
There was a pimple that I couldn't notice.
Couldn't quite make it out.
Did he pop it or didn't he pop it?
It's a big question that I'll never know the answer to because I didn't have a 4K TV.
Exactly.
This is 4 times the resolution of 1080p, which for the last few years has been what's been sought after.
Right, that was the standard, and it doesn't feel like we've had that for so long that now we have to go 4 times that. Can we even tell the difference?
I think this is a question of just science getting ahead of morals, and it's not a question of if we should, but it's a question of if we can. Right. And if we can, then we're just going to go for it. Why not? And no matter what the consequences, it doesn't even matter.
Now, this is standard, has been used in theaters for a few years now, ever since they went digital, and now they're trying to bring it to our homes, but there are quite a few difficulties there.
Yeah, the number one difficulty is the cost. Is the few years ago, these TVs, 4K TVs, would have cost around $50,000. Now the prices dropped significantly to 85%. Right. In the last 2 years alone. So it's becoming more and more affordable. And now we're hearing that Netflix is getting in on it, and they're going to start making available shows like Breaking Bad and other things on their list.
In 4K?
In 4K.
That's impressive, because another problem that the standard has, if I'm not mistaken, is that there's no DVD or Blu-ray or anything that can hold 4K content. So actually the only way to get it is online, is through Netflix, through YouTube and stuff like that.
Which kind of makes sense if you think about it. Nobody's really buying, I haven't bought a Blu-ray, or I never bought a Blu-ray in my life, but I haven't bought a DVD in years, and computers don't have DVD drives anymore. Nobody's buying these things. Everyone's planning on streaming.
So should I wait just a little while longer before I buy my 4K TV?
Yeah, the price is dropping. The longer you wait right now, the next step is going to be 8K, which they're literally working on right now.
Right. All right, maybe I'll just skip straight to that. Daniel, thank you. All right, that's it from us for today. We leave you today with a real treat, an unreleased song from British comedy group Monty Python. The Lousy Song was recorded in 1980 by Eric Idle and the late Graham Chapman. It's lousy, but I think you'll enjoy it.
While stars in the sky reflect in your eye.
Sorry I'm late. What are you up to?
Oh, just listening back to the song.
The birds on the wing stop and they sing.
Terrible, isn't it?
We hear there's a thing.
Awful, isn't it?
What is?
The song.
The song?
Yes, it's terrible.
It's a bit to be talking.
The song, it's garbage.
You don't like it?
Like it? It's appalling.
Listen to the lyrics.
Comes along.
Yes, I agree.
What?
Terrible.
Loving so true.